Lizzie, I'm worried about the proportional increase in government which we've had in the United States since about 1969. What's got you worried, Jessica? Because, to me, it seems like everything is still working well. There are still cars on the roads, and people still have food on their tables. Everything, on the surface, seems fine. From 1969 going forward, we started letting overall government, which is federal plus state plus local governments, collectively comprise over 28% of GDP. That doesn't sound so bad. I mean, it still sounds like there is still enough room for a private sector to operate. Having less than 72% of the GDP left to the private sector doesn't seem scary. Can you give an example of which adverse effects happen when product is siphoned away from private sector investment and redistributed to the public sector? Yes. Prices and debt can begin to rise faster than our income does, making us, at least financially, worse off over time. For instance, the gross income in 1994 for every 2.5 persons averaged about $36,000, and it took 22 years for it to double. After-tax income didn't double until 2016. Where was this reported? In the Consumer Expenditure Surveys at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Can you give an example of an item, one which people spend a lot of their money on, where the price rose faster than average income did? Yeah. New home prices for the 22 years from 1994 to 2016 more than doubled. Where was this reported? In Standard & Poor's case-shiller home price index. Okay, let's assume for the sake of argument that some big-ticket items more than doubled in price in 22 years. What about our total debt load? By how much did total debt increase during this time? Total credit market debt stood at around $17 trillion in 1994, which was $67,000 per person. By 2015, 21 years later, total debt had risen to $62.5 trillion, which was about $195,000 per person. It almost tripled in 21 years. I think you were right, Jessica. If it takes 22 years for income to double and, by the time, debt has already tripled, then we are not improving our economic situation.